Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a very exciting video for you today. Yes, this is what I look like. I don't usually show my face, but I'm going to try a little bit different of a filming style today. If y'all like it, please let me know in the comments. I'm trying to make the videos a little bit smoother. Most of my videos are just kind of like one take walk arounds. I'm trying to make it a little more of a connection with y'all. So if you have any suggestions, please leave them down in the comments below and subscribe if you want to see future videos with this filming style. As you can see behind me, the main attraction here, the meat and potatoes of this video, is the new truck. This is a 2001 F-250 Super Duty with the 7.3 Power Stroke, and it is a Lariat, so it's leather on the inside, which we will get to in just a second. Now, I bought this truck off Facebook Marketplace, and the reason I wanted this truck is I've been looking for a F-250 or 2500 or bigger to pull my dump trailer. So as you know, if you've seen the Budget Silverado series on this channel, I had a 2005 Silverado 1500 that we called Gronk, and that was kind of a truck I did a lot of stuff to. I made some content on it. Feel free to check out the Budget Silverado video series on this channel if you want to see more about that. But that was not the truck to pull the dump trailer with. So as sad as it is, I had to sell Gronk to buy this truck. And as much as that hurt me because I really like that truck, this truck is way better for what I need to do. This truck is an absolute beast. Now, I was looking for, like I said, any sort of F-250 or 2500. I was looking at gas mostly because diesel's really not in my budget. I was looking in like the $12,000 to $14,000 range. And if you spend any time on Marketplace or Craigslist, you know that diesels are insane. They are very, very expensive trucks. Even for undesirable ones, they are very, very expensive. And my criteria was I didn't want a whole lot of miles. I had to have a four-wheel drive truck. And I wanted it to look decent. Now, I love this kind of maroon colored red on this. It's not the bright fire engine red. It's a kind of a darker red. Other than some paint imperfections, this is a very pretty truck. This truck looks good. It looks presentable. And my reason for wanting that was I like things to look good as it is. And in my price range, a lot of the trucks would be thrashed. They'd have a ton of miles on them. They'd just be tore all to pieces. They'd look bad. And when I pull up to a customer's house or give them an estimate, I want to have a truck that looks decent. And this truck does look good. It's nothing too crazy. It's got a little bit of a rake to it. That primarily being because he had new shocks and springs put on it. And he left an extra leaf spring in the back so the rear would sit up more, because he had a big camper he pulled behind it, and he had all his camping stuff under the paint match tonneau cover that this truck also came with, which is an ARE tonneau cover. But anyway, the truck, when you have the camper on it, would sit level. And if you had the truck level and you put a big load on the back, it'll make the front end lighter. It will look not quite as good because the truck will be squatted, and squatted trucks don't look good. You can argue with me in the comments, but they don't. And so I was very excited to get my hands on this truck. Now, I found this truck on Marketplace, and I've been looking for a truck like this for about a year. And really in the past 3 months, I've looked extremely, extremely religiously. Every 20 minutes, pretty much, I'm refreshing Marketplace looking at trucks. And it was getting to the point where every truck I would see, I would either call about and be second or third in line and wouldn't get it. It would be sold out from under me, or I would go to look at it and I would have been completely lied to. The guy would have been dishonest with the pictures and the description, and it would not have been as he described it. And so I'd leave frustrated that I wasted my time to look at a clapped out truck that was described as really good. So when I saw this one, and I'm gonna pause the truck part because a little tip for Marketplace, if you see something you like that's a big item, now when I say big item, I mean like four-wheeler, trailer, truck, it could go for anything. If it's a smaller thing that's not in a crazy demand, you should be fine. But with any sort of big item, what I normally like to do is send the seller a message on Messenger and say, hey, I'm interested in whatever it may be. For this, it was the truck. I'm interested in the truck. Can I get your phone number and call you about it? Usually they say, sure, and they send you their phone number. The reason I like to do this is because once you get somebody on the phone, you can get a feel for how they are as a person, and they can get a feel for how you are. So talking to this guy, it was a Tuesday morning, and so I called him. I said, hey, I really like it. If everything checks out, I want to get it. Can you hold it till Friday? Because that's with my work schedule, that's the best I can do. And he said, yes, I can hold it till Friday. Actually, Friday works better for me anyway. And if I had just sent that guy a message and said, hey, I want it, can you hold it till Friday? He probably would have been like, no, I'm not, I don't even know this person. I'm just gonna sell it to the first person that shows up. But me talking to him and we kind of hit it off on the phone, me getting a connection with him and kind of figuring out who he was, I was able to get him to hold this truck for me for several days, which is difficult to do on Marketplace. And then Friday morning I went and I drove several hours to pick it up. So that's just a little tip there. I would definitely recommend trying that, especially on a high demand item like trucks that go so fast. I mean, they'll be on there for just a few minutes before they're sold. This truck does have a 6.0 front end. I'm not sure how I feel about the grill. Let me know in the comments. It's kind of growing on me. It looks pretty decent once you get used to it. The headlights are getting changed out today. I'll be making another video on that. I'm waiting for the new ones to get here. These things are pretty foggy. I've had people say, you know, you can grind them out, buff them out, you can sand them down. By the time I get a headlight kit and fix it, I would rather just spend 60 bucks and get brand new headlights and get the ones I want. It does have brand new LED fog lights, which are wired in and everything, and those are very bright, but the headlights it came with are pretty rough. Now the tires are just about brand new. These are BF Goodrich KO2s. These are good tires. I've always liked these tires. They look good, they have good sidewalls, and these have about 80+% tread, probably even 90. These are about new tires, and these are expensive tires. They're 285 75 16s, which is about a 33. And so this truck could have bigger tires, but especially with me towing and these being such new nice tires, I'm just gonna leave them on there and see how they do. It doesn't look bad with them, but I think it could pull off 35s pretty easy. Going around the truck, one of my favorite parts are these aftermarket mirrors. These came off, I believe it's a 14 to 17, or it's one of the newer Super Duties, like the 6.2/6.7 generation Super Duties. And they extend out, and they're also wired into the factory power mirror switch inside the truck. So they work perfectly like OEM mirrors, but you can see better out of them. With these blind spots and these big regular mirrors right there, there's nothing you can't see. You do not even need a rear view because you can just see so much out of those extendable mirrors. Going around the truck, like I said, it came with this tonneau cover, which is very nice. I wasn't sure how I felt about it at first, and then I tried using it and I put my stuff back there and it's able to lock. And being able to put my stuff back there and not have to clutter up the cab. I'm a firefighter and I carry around turnout gear, and if I keep it in the cab all the time, the cab will smell like firefighter smoke, and it just isn't a great smell to have to always have, especially if you're riding around with somebody. And putting that in the bed eliminates that completely, so that's been very nice. Also, I don't know how I feel about these tail lights. I believe these are off a newer Super Duty because the reverse lights are up top instead of being on the bottom. The original ones, I believe the reverse lights were on the bottom. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure those are aftermarket for newer trucks, and they're pretty tinted. I don't know how I feel about the dark taillights. Part of me wants to go for like an OEM look. I like the OEM or OEM Plus look on trucks, and I don't know how I feel about those taillights. So leave a comment what you think I should do with the taillights. I'm not sure. Leave your opinion down below, and I'll see kind of what the general voice is on that, and we'll see what I decide to do. Looking under the truck, it's got a 4-inch straight pipe. That's really the only engine modification it has. It's never had a tuner. It's got the stock intake, everything's stock except a 4-inch straight pipe. And it's really not even that loud compared to, I've been in stock 7.3s with the original muffler, and it's not that much louder, which is kind of surprising, but it's not that loud. Also, they say the exhaust is a pretty big restriction point on these trucks. And so I guess going with a bigger exhaust, and they also say upgrading the intake is a big help, because essentially all this truck is an air pump that sucks in air and it pushes out air, and the faster it can suck in air and push out, the more air you can circulate through. So they say the exhaust, especially on diesels, makes a big difference. This truck, for what it is and being so big, is a pretty peppy truck. 7.3s are not fast diesel engines. You know, it's not a 1200 horsepower Cummins, it's not a 6.7, it's not a 6.0. But it is a pretty strong engine, I think, for what I need it to do, and I'm pretty happy with the power. It's peppy enough. And this is a 7.3. If you're ever looking, like this is a 7.3 truck with a 6.0 front end. But if you're ever looking, if a truck's a 7.3, if they keep the OEM badges, 7.3 badges have a black background with silver raised letters. So the background will be black and the letters will be silver. 6.0s have a silver background. So the main background of the badge is silver itself. And then if you know the front end, as long as it hasn't been tampered with, they have different front ends. But overall on the outside, it's a really nice looking truck. It's got some clear coat peeling on the hood, which is common for these. But other than that, it's a really sharp looking truck. It looks really good. And just being able to find one of these in my price range was amazing. Getting up inside the truck, as you can see, it is a Lariat, it's leather. You can also tell by the fake wood. The interior is pretty clean. I'm very pleased with the interior. It's got a rip in the seat right here and it's got some wear, but the seats are in pretty good shape. The middle flips up so the truck can seat 6. The back seats look like they've never been sat in. They have a few scuffs on them and dirt smudges, but they're about perfect. Both the back suicide doors work, and if you don't know, these are common for when you pull these out, it pulls a cable which undoes the latch. Those cables are known for coming out or snapping, and these both work, which is a great plus. It's got a few power options, but overall, I think this is kind of a lower trim Lariat because I've seen some Lariats have a lot more power options than this truck does. It's fairly bare for being a Lariat. There's your four-wheel drive switch right there. Looking at the odometer, you can see it's only got 191,000 miles, which is nothing for a 7.3 with the right maintenance. Like I said, a lot of these trucks were going for $14,000, $15,000 and they had 300,000 miles on them, or 280 with a 5-position tuner, or they had 350,000 miles and were a fleet truck. And that just wasn't what I was looking for. And when I saw this one, I just knew that this was the truck I wanted because I was just so impressed with the mileage and the price. Now, if you're wondering how much I paid for this truck, the guy had it listed for 11, so 11,000 at 191,000 miles, and I jumped on it as soon as I saw it. And when I got there, everything checked out. I had a laundry list of things to check. You know, I didn't want to buy a truck that was a lemon, and 11,000 isn't a lot for most people for a truck, but for me, it's a big move. It's a lot of money to shell out at one time. And so I wanted to make sure that I knew what I got. I checked for blow by, I checked play and all the joints, axle shafts, everything. And everything checked out great. The only little issue it had was the passenger window went down really slow. And I thought maybe the window motor was going bad, but upon research, these are common for the felt on the inside of the window slider goes bad and wears off, and so the rubber grips the window. So if you take WD-40 or liquid wrench or PB Blaster and spray it in the window grooves, the window will go up and down like new. I think you have to do that about every 6 months, but the window works like new now. So no having to dig into the door panel, no having to do any of that. Just a little bit of WD-40 fixed that whole problem. Passenger seat over here, you know, it's not perfect. It's got the same little blemish right there as on the driver's side, but it's a pretty solid interior. It's comfy. I like it. It feels good. Anyway, getting back to how much I paid for the truck, the guy had it listed for 11, which is all. I would have paid 11 for it all day long. And by the time I got there, made sure that the odometer wasn't stuck and it actually rolled over, so it was true mileage. And looking at it, I offered him 10, and the guy took 10 grand just right there on the spot. He said, "Yeah, man, I'll take 10 for it." He even had it parked on concrete and had a creeper for me so I could look under the truck and make sure there wasn't anything that he had failed to mention. He seemed like a really cool dude, and he was just a good guy to buy a vehicle from. He just seemed like he gave me a good vibe. He did on the phone as well, and when I got to meet him in person, he just continued to give me a good feeling. I felt like it was somebody I wanted to excuse me, buy a vehicle from. Now, looking at the engine, it's not perfect. It's just a 20-year-old truck engine bay. It hasn't been completely detailed every week, but it hasn't been destroyed either. It's got a new Motorcraft alternator, and it's got 2 batteries that were put in earlier this year, and I've got the receipts for those as well. I'll go ahead and fire it up for you so you can hear it, and I'll do a little blow-by test with the oil cap to show you. Put our key in. Wait for that wait to start to go away. As you can hear, it starts right up. It doesn't have any major shakes. I can get the key out of this thing. As you can see, it starts right up, which is what you want in a diesel. It doesn't need to sit there and turn over, especially on a hot day, which is a very warm day. It doesn't have any blow by, which is what that oil cap test is for. And it's honestly pretty flawless for what it is. And to get this for 10 was such a blessing. And to say I bought the cheapest 7.3 on Marketplace, while I'm sure there may have been a couple on there that were a couple thousand less maybe, but they would have been ratted out and have 400,000 miles. But this is the cheapest 7.3 with low miles that I could find on Marketplace. And it is just an absolute beast on the road. It's a big truck. I'm still thinking about names. Big Red is kind of the first thing that comes to mind. But if y'all can think of anything else, please let me know in the comments. But if you have any suggestions of what I should do for this truck, please let me know. I'm very open to suggestions. I kind of bought this, and it's weird to have a truck that I don't really have to do anything to. I would like to add some window tint, at least to the front doors, and maybe do 20% all the way around. I'm still thinking about it. And then I will be changing out the headlights as well. We'll also get a video on that for you, a little before and after. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. I really appreciate y'all watching the video. If you enjoyed a video like this, please subscribe. I'm trying to make more content like this for the future. And please like the video if you enjoyed. Thanks, y'all have a good one.